now let's talk about some Korean players. I mean, there are some rumors on some South Korean defender who you wrote about before, and then about Sonny. Then Kim Min-jae, we talked about him before, and there are a lot of stories that whether he will move to Spurs or not for the past 2 transfer window, but nothing happened so far. Do you believe any truth in those stories or not?
There's definitely interest. Spurs have him watched and are interested in him. Unfortunately for Kim Min-jae, I go back to the homegrown player problem. So Joe Roden, who's Welsh and plays in the English football system, even I just asked Mourinho yesterday, he's had to leave him out of his Europa League squad because he can't fit him in. So I think the problem always with trying to bring Kim Min-jae over, apart from trying to get the transfer fee right, was getting him minutes and getting him playing. He's obviously, far better than me, a very talented young player. But right now, or certainly in the last 2 transfer windows, he would have come to Tottenham and not really played much football. I think that's been a big problem. And I think maybe when they look at it in the summer, if they have, I think they'll have a bit of an overhaul of the squad in the summer. And I think various foreign players will have to go. Whether, the fans like it or not, I think they need to free up space. And perhaps when they do that, they have a look at Kim Min-jae again and see whether there's a space for him in the team. Because, if you're Kim Min-jae, you want to be playing football. You don't want to, as great as an experience as the Premier League is, you don't want to come all the way over and just sit on a bench and watch other people play. So, definitely one I've got an interest in, but haven't really made any solid moves yet to go for.
I also heard from other sources, kind of, and you are saying the same. So, in summary, to summarize, Spurs are really interested in Kim, right?
Yeah, they are interested.
But at the same time, there were no serious transfer. No serious offer so far. Is it right?
I think there's been some talks, but that's about it as far as I'm aware.
Yeah, there were some talks. All right.
Yeah.
And then, do you think in the future? In next summer, there is a possibility because Spurs would need to. How can I say, rebuild their center backs or their defensive line or something like that. Then there could be a possibility they will be jumping into the situation again, right?
Yeah, it depends who leaves. If say Davinson Sanchez moves on, then that frees up a foreign player spot, or even Toby Alderweireld. There's been talk that he might go back to Ajax at some point. If that were to happen this summer, then it frees up that spot, doesn't it?
They definitely need new defenders, I think.
Yes.
Let's see what will happen next summer. And then if you get any new story about Kim Min-jae, you should speak to me first.
Of course I will.
All right, and the last question about Son. There are 2 or 3 questions on Son from Korean fans, of course. And then, overall, over the past 5 years, how do you how do you feel about Son as a player, as a Spurs player, his performance?
Honestly, one of my favourite Tottenham players ever, I think, as a fan and as a journalist. I've been very fortunate, obviously, to interview him a fair few times. I know nowhere as much as you. You've interviewed him so many times, but he just makes you smile whether you're watching him or talking to him. He just has that ability to make you smile, and I think that's the mark of not only a world-class footballer, but a really great person as well. And I think he does it. You see in the squad. I think the squad, when Sonny's not around, is lesser for it. They need him in that squad, not only for what he does on the pitch, but for how he brings everyone together. Nobody at Tottenham dislikes Sonny. Every single, whether it's a member of staff, whether it's a player, whether it's a coach, a chairman, they love him. I mean, even in the Amazon documentary, if you saw, he's even joking with Daniel Levy. No one jokes with Daniel Levy. He's a very serious man.
Right.
And so, yeah, no, it's been great from a professional perspective to see how Sonny's developed as well.
Yeah.
I think in the early seasons, you could probably say, well, the first season, obviously, it was about adapting and settling in. And I think you found over the next couple of seasons, it was about him trying to find a bit of consistency to his game. There were times maybe when he was running through on goal and you weren't sure whether he was going to score or not. He sometimes would think about it too much. And I think what we're now seeing is prime world-class Sonny. And he's a joy to watch, honestly. I love what's with him and Kane as well. It's become this beautiful partnership. It really has. It's like, I think even as either Son or Kane said, it's telepathic. They just know where each other are. Yeah, I've had a lot of favourite kind of footballers over the years, like Gascoigne, Ginola, players like that. Van der Vaart. I'd probably say I think Sonny's right at that top level now. I think he is I think Spurs are very lucky to have him. He's one of the best players that's probably ever played for Spurs. I'd go as far to say that.
Yeah, I mean, you already said that. I wanted to ask you, do you think is he a world-class player? But you already said that twice. Yeah, he's a world-class player. Yeah,
100% he is now. I think in the last 18 months, I think he's really started to push himself up into that bracket.
Yeah, I mean, he now played for Spurs for 5 years now, and then I believe, even if whenever he leaves Spurs, he would remain as a Spurs legend. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I think so. I think he's so popular with the fans. I mean, he wins almost every fan award. I really hope he becomes a Spurs legend who's won trophies. Because Spurs have got a lot of legends that are terrific players, but never actually won anything. I'd love Sonny to be in that next level where he's also a winner and has brought trophies to the club. And he's good enough to do that, but he needs help. He can't do it by himself.
All right. The last question. Maybe you would not agree with this or not, but this is a chance for you to speak about this. I mean, some Korean fans think that you are too strict on the player ratings, especially for Son. Yeah. My first question is: do you agree with that or not?
No. Well, what I'd say, I always say this about player ratings because I get this from fans about every single player. It's not Sonny. Maybe Korean fans maybe are annoyed at my Sonny ratings, but I've also got various fans annoyed at my Harry Winks ratings, or I even have Welsh fans who get very upset about my Gareth Bale or Ben Davies or Joe Rodon ratings.
All right.
Or Ndombele. I love Ndombele. Is for me with Sonny are the two players that I love to watch. But you get people that are very excited about Ndombele, and if I don't give him an 8 every game, my Twitter is like. But what I always say about player ratings is they're subjective. Every single person has a different view on player ratings. Everyone. So I could give, say Sonny an 8 in a match, and I'll get a lot of fans saying he should have had a 9 or a 10. And I'll also get a lot of fans saying he was terrible. He should have had a 4 or a 5. And for me, that's why I kind of switch off from that. Because for me, if people are telling me both sides of that, maybe I'm all right. Maybe in the middle, I'm okay. So, I understand that everyone views players in a different way. Sometimes we focus purely on their performance, and we might see things that someone like me that's trying to watch the whole game might miss. They might have done good things that I didn't see. But on the flip side, if we really are passionate about a certain player or another player, we might forgive them sometimes for their mistakes and things like that and only see the good things. So I think the difficulty of my job sometimes, it's not the hardest job in the world, but one of the little difficulties is we kind of have to be objective and look across the whole thing. not everyone's going to agree with what we do. You know that as a journalist. We'll always have people that don't agree with what we write. But to be honest, it's kind of part of the fun as well.
Yeah. So
it's all about creating debate, getting people talking about stuff as well.
Yeah. So you are saying, I mean, I obviously I understand, but you are trying to be neutral, objective when you are trying to do that. And you definitely say you don't have any negative feelings about Son when you do the ratings, right?
Oh, I love Sonny. I love Sonny. You know how I talk about Sonny, honestly.
Yeah.
He, like I say, he's even doing it now. He's making me smile just thinking about it. Yeah. He's fantastic. I know sometimes some Korean fans tell me otherwise, but I'd love to see him stay at Spurs for the rest of his career. One day, Spurs manager even. That'd be amazing.
I mean, yeah, right. Yeah, maybe in the future, really. Yeah. Is there, all right. I mean, let's finish here. And is there anything you would like to say to South Korean Spurs fans? Including your love for Son?
Well, I think I've probably spoken about that enough.
Yeah.
But I'd just say that's been one of the things that I've really enjoyed as well about Son coming, is the kind of the infusion of South Korean fans coming into Tottenham culture. I love it. It's such a shame now with the stadiums being empty. I used to love, you could see the passion from the South Korean fans. They just brought something that Spurs didn't have before. And, you know, I've been on pre-season tours, and when we went to America, I think it was Los Angeles a couple of years back, Sonny went to, I think it was Koreatown.
Yes.
In Los Angeles. And the love for him, we don't see that with any other player. Spurs fans, obviously, there's affection towards a lot of players, but I've never seen anything like the love Sonny has. And it's been a pleasure as a journalist to be able to see that, and how passionate the fans are, and how they're so colourful when they come to the games. Often Spurs fans, you know, probably just English fans, will sit there, they'll have their Spurs top on, and that's it. Korean fans, they've got their flags, they're kitted out, they've got colours, their flags are painted on their face sometimes. It's been so, it's added a whole different dimension to Tottenham, which I think the club love it as well, because on a cynical marketing level, there's probably a lot more money because of Son as well. But purely on a level of being a reporter, it's added a whole another level of enjoyment for me. It's been brilliant.